Wheelchair user. What's the most patronizing thing a stranger has ever done to you? I was at the gym doing my usual upper body routine when this guy in scrubs walked straight up to my bench and grabbed my wheelchair handles without asking. Don't worry, I've got you, he said, starting to push me away from the equipment. Physical therapy is downstairs. You probably got confused about which floor you needed. I'm not confused, I said, gripping the wheel rims to stop him from moving me. I'm a member here. I was using that equipment. The guy, who had a name tag reading Dr. Marcus Webb, spinal rehabilitation, looked at me like I'd told him I was planning to fly to Mars. Son, I've been treating spinal cord injuries for 15 years. Trust me when I say that weight training isn't appropriate for someone in your condition. You could seriously hurt yourself. He still hadn't let go of my chair, treating me like a runaway shopping cart he needed to return to the store. My condition? I flexed my arms, which were probably twice the size of his from years of wheelchair racing and adaptive sports. What exactly do you think my condition is? Dr. Webb's expression shifted to what he probably thought was compassionate concern. Complete paralysis, obviously. Look, I understand the denial phase. I've seen it hundreds of times, but accepting your limitations is the first step toward healing. He started pushing again, and I had to grab the bench to keep from being wheeled away like a piece of furniture. I'm not in denial about anything, I said through gritted teeth. I know exactly what my injury is, what I can do, and what I can't do. What I can do is bench press 240. What I can't do is walk. Those are two completely different things. Dr. Webb stopped pushing, but didn't release his grip on my chair. 240? That's impossible. Your muscle mass below the injury site has atrophied. Basic physiology prevents that kind of upper body development in paraplegics. His medical degree apparently hadn't covered the concept of adaptive athletics. Want to see? I gestured toward the loaded barbell I'd been about to attempt. Or are you going to keep treating me like a confused patient who wandered away from the hospital? Dr. Webb finally let go of my wheelchair, but his expression suggested he thought I was delusional. Fine, he said, crossing his arms. But when you injure yourself, don't say I didn't warn you. He stepped back just far enough to give me space while making it clear he was staying to witness my inevitable failure and subsequent need for his medical expertise. I positioned myself under the bar, took a deep breath, and lifted the weight cleanly off the rack. 240 went up smooth as silk, held for a beat, then came down controlled and steady. I racked the weight and looked at Dr. Webb, whose mouth was hanging open like I'd just violated several laws of physics. Impossible, he muttered, moving closer to examine the weight plates. Are these fake? Hollow? He actually picked up one of the 45-pound plates and nearly dropped it when he realized it was solid iron. They're real, I said, transferring back to my everyday chair. Just like I'm really a competitive powerlifter who's been training here for 3 years. Just like I really know what I'm doing with my own body. Dr. Webb was still staring at the barbell like it might explain how his medical textbooks had lied to him. But your muscle development should be impossible with your level of injury, he insisted. Everything I know about spinal cord physiology says you shouldn't be able to achieve that kind of strength. I started packing up my gym bag, already exhausted by this conversation. Maybe everything you know about spinal cord injuries comes from studying people in hospital beds instead of people living their lives, I suggested. Maybe your textbooks don't cover what's possible when someone spends 10 years refusing to accept other people's limitations. Dr. Webb followed me toward the locker room, his medical curiosity apparently overriding his social awareness. I need to understand this. What's your injury level? When did it occur? What kind of rehabilitation did you receive? He was pulling out his phone like he wanted to document me for a research paper. I need you to understand something, I said, stopping my chair and turning to face him directly. I'm not your patient. I'm not your research subject. I'm a guy trying to work out in peace without being treated like a medical mystery or a miracle that needs explaining. But Dr. Webb wasn't listening. He was looking at my legs with the kind of intense focus usually reserved for lab specimens. Have you ever experienced any return of sensation? Any phantom pain or muscle spasms that might indicate incomplete injury classification? I'm done with this conversation, I said, starting to wheel away. But Dr. Webb stepped in front of me, his hands reaching toward my chair handles again. Wait, please. I think I can help you. Real help, not just acceptance of a permanent condition. What part of leave me alone don't you understand? I demanded. Several other gym members were starting to notice the commotion, and I could see the front desk staff looking in our direction with concern. Dr. Webb's voice dropped to what he probably thought was a confidential whisper. I've been developing a new treatment protocol. Stem cell therapy combined with electrical stimulation and targeted pharmaceutical intervention. I've seen remarkable results in recent trials. Let me guess, I said. You need test subjects for your experimental treatment, and the crippled guy at the gym looks like the perfect candidate. Full story on my channel and linked below.